Hello, I'm Melinda, one of our awesome practitioners. My talk today is titled, Kindling the Inner Flame. I believe we are each born into this world of humanness with a pre-installed inner flame. You might think of it as your pilot light, an ever-present inner spark, your divine essence. Even in moments of darkness or stillness, it's always there, quietly glowing, ready to ignite your passion, purpose, or faith whenever you intentionally turn to it. Pilot, in this context, symbolizes guidance or leadership. Just like a pilot light leads to a full flame, your inner pilot light is that constant, guiding presence, always ready to lead you through your faith toward growth, purpose, or awakening when you choose to follow it. Here is a story that emphasizes faith is something that must be intentionally tended. The keeper of one purpose. Imagine a small rocky island coastline where an old lighthouse stood as the only line of defense between the ships at sea and certain disaster. The lighthouse keeper there was a kind man, known for his generosity. Every month he was given a single precise supply of oil, just enough to keep the great beacon burning until the next delivery. One cold night, a neighbor from the mainland rode shivering and begged for just a small jar of oil to keep her children warm. The keeper, moved by her plight, gave her what she needed. A few nights later, a farmer came by, needed oil to lubricate a wheel that held his entire harvest. Again, the keeper could not say no. Then a father came, needing fuel for a lamp to read to his sick child. Each request was small. Each request was noble. But toward the end of the month, the keeper went to the storage room and found the barrel bone dry. That night, for the first time in decades, the horizon stayed dark. Without the light to guide them, 3 ships crashed against the rocks. When the authorities arrived to investigate, the keeper wept, explaining how he had only tried to be helpful. Their response was cold and clear. You were given that oil for one purpose, and one purpose only, to keep the light burning. Like the lighthouse keeper, many of us spend our lives giving away our oil. We give away our energy to our jobs, our worries, and the endless demands of the world. We aren't doing anything wrong. In fact, we're often doing very good things. But when we wake up one day to believing, we may wake up one day to believing our inner pilot light has gone out. How can we protect and kindle that inner flame? How can we ensure that no matter how many noble distractions come our way, our pilot light of faith stays lit? Faith is a living energy. It is our potential. Faith offers endless possibilities. You might think of it as your fuel. Kindling, in the sense of igniting the inner flame, means nurturing that deep inner spark of passion, purpose, or awareness. It's about adding small intentional actions like reflection, curiosity, or mindfulness that gently build and sustain your inner fire. In other words, it's the process of awakening and fueling your inner light so it can burn brighter and be your guide. Kindling the inner flame requires stillness. You cannot start a fire in the midst of a hurricane. To kindle the flame, we must first get quiet enough to hear the still, small voice within. Sitting in silence allows the ash of daily life to fall away. Faith often grows best in the dark, quiet soil of contemplation. Moving into the stillness of contemplation, we are available to listen to guidance from a higher source. Contemplative prayer is a good place to start when we find ourselves in the midst of chaos and disturbance. It can be very distracting when our flight or fight mode takes over. Our body vibrates with the feeling we must do something now. Yet in the stillness of silence, we remove any distractions. We allow our body and mind to become still, quiet, anchored in the source of divinity, where all answers to all problems await our attention. We regain access to the pilot light of our being. Then we are ready to move into affirmative prayer. Once we find the spark in the silence, we must give it oxygen through our words. We use our faith as an active energy to fan the embers into visible flames. Now, when I pray, I know the light is within me. I can easily affirm the light is within me. I am guided. I am supported. I know the truth. I like this approach, as sometimes life is just too chaotic to move right into my usual affirmative prayer. Contemplation recenters me, so then I am truly in the right place from which I can enter into my usual form of prayer. From the book Ladder to the Light, Stephen Charleston uses the vision of the Kiva to explain the sacred place of the darkness. He explains that Native Americans of the Southwest use the Kiva like we use a cathedral as a place of worship. However, the cathedral's design points our attention upward, while the Kiva is intended to point us downward. The spiritual focal point is not above us, but below. We are not to look up, but down. What we seek is not in the sky, but in the earth. Charleston goes on to explain, the Kiva symbolizes spiritual resilience. It reminds us that we began in darkness, not the dark, ominous darkness we imagine we face today, but the nurturing darkness of the womb, a place of formation and growth. Over time, through the grace of the Spirit, we learned more, understood more, until we matured and were ready to take our place in the bright world of reality. We emerged from Mother Earth. At first we were weak and unsteady on our feet like any newborn. But with the support of the Earth's other creatures, we soon stood up together, formed communities, and began living in the way Spirit instructed us. The Kiva is an underground chamber representing a return to the Earth's womb where seeds germinate. People descend the ladder as a journey inward, and in the darkness they listen for their inner light. Then they ascend transformed. Kai, a small boy, went into the Kiva and in the darkness found it was like soil waiting for a seed. He discovered a small ember inside himself. When he climbed the ladder back into the sunlight, he realized the light was not only outside, it was within him, ready to grow. Kivas often had a central fire pit. The fire was used both for warmth and for ritual purposes, symbolizing light and connection to the spirit world. To kindle the inner flame, you must move beyond the initial spark and transition into active tending, which involves protecting your energy from cold water, like apathy, and consistently fanning the embers of your purpose. This process is a shift from simply having a passion to stewarding it through intentional rhythms and self-awareness. Before you can make the fire roar, you must know what burns best for you. Acknowledge your individual essence. Reflect on what makes you feel most alive. This inner fire is the driving force beyond your growth. Align with your values. Recently in our foundations class, we did an easy exercise to discover our core values. I'm sure you can find one online. Kindle the flame by verbalizing your strengths and aligning your major life decisions with your core essence. Get creative. Use tools like visioning, painting, drawing, writing, soul collage, journaling to spark intuitive insights that keep the fire fresh. Be creative and use your value to establish daily rituals such as prayer and meditation. Meditations can be short and sweet, just another way to stay connected and tend the flame. Let's try a short one now. Settle in to that internal flame. Put your feet flat on the floor for grounding. Take a nice deep breath. Relax. Right here and now, I breathe into the knowing. There is one power that is everywhere and everything and offers only good. I open myself to this power. I have this knowing within, the pilot light that I kindle, and I choose not to allow anything to interfere with this magnificence as it expresses through me, for me, as me. And so it is. Remember, true fulfillment comes from a self-sustained internal conviction. Consistency is the breath that keeps the fire alive. Don't wait for a roaring blaze. Value even the tiniest flickers and nurture them through daily, manageable habits. When life feels dim or cold winds of difficulty blow, intentionally increase your efforts in prayer, serving others, our connection with the contagious people who share your passion. Cultivate unforced rhythms of grace by surrendering anxiety and the weight of the world, acknowledging that you are a steward of the light, not its source, not its sole source. The purpose of kindling your inner flame is ultimately to light the way for others. Radiate warmth by using your internal joy to warm those who are lonely or whose hearts have grown cold. Embrace sacrifice when understanding that shining often requires effort and endurance. Understand, you were given that oil for one purpose and one purpose only: to keep the light burning. That quiet, unseen trust isn't a reaction to what is happening around you. It's a state of being that originates from your deepest connection to your own existence, the one you have nurtured and tended. When you stop looking for external proof, you can start recognizing the steady rhythm of your own inner life. This trust is the quiet recognition that happens when your intuition and logic finally stop fighting. It often grows after you have faced your own shadows, the parts of yourself you once feared or hid. When you integrate these parts, they stop being threats and become the very soil where the seed of true self sprouts. This trust is built on unseen faithfulness, long stretches of showing up for yourself when no one was watching and no applause was given. You trust yourself because you have a history of surviving what you thought would break you. In the stillness, we find the presence. It comes from the realization that God's quiet presence is not something to overcome, but something to receive. When you direct your attention to awareness itself, you realize you are consciousness, not just your changing circumstances. This anchors you so you no longer depend on the shifting world for security. Self-reliance involves returning to a place of rest within yourself, making a conscious choice to stop worrying and fretting and instead surrender to a higher will or your own core values, because now you know what they are, right? Real trust isn't a prediction that things will go perfectly. It's a commitment to trust your inner ability to handle whatever happens. We often fear the silence we experience in the stillness. Spiritually speaking, silence is a construction zone where we build new thoughts. It helps to purify your motives by asking, do I seek the fire or just the warmth it gives? It strips away the need for constant reassurance, leaving behind a faith that stands alone, purifying our motives. Just as a seed grows invisibly beneath the frost, this trust is the hidden work being done beneath the surface of your life during your quietest seasons. And I close with a writing by Greg Grisbowski. Trust your inner wisdom and intuition. Beloveds of the flame, trust in your inner wisdom. Trust in the wisdom your soul embodied into your very breath before entering this realm. Trust in the quiet lightning of your feelings, your intuition, your embodied knowing. They are the compass of your soul. No matter what another, no matter how well-meaning, how radiant, or how loud, tells you is truth, if it does not resonate, let it go, gently, completely. Your truth is sacred. Your feelings are sovereign. They are not up for debate. They are not required to match another's. Even in oneness, we are each carrying a unique strand of the song. We do not need to convert each other. We are here to remember ourselves. It's not only okay, it's holy to agree to disagree. For that, too, is part of the great harmony. We are each navigating personal and collective dark nights. We are each unraveling ancestral cords. We are each waking to a deeper mirror. Let us release judgment and instead anchor into wholeness. As we reclaim our light within, as we remember that that what was never lost. We begin to radiate that light outward, an ever-expanding beacon for the lighthouse, for others still finding their way home. I see you. I honor you. I love you, not because we are the same, but because we are reflections of the same sacred flame, the pilot light that never goes out. Namaste.